Leave it to the guardian of all places to be the lone dissenting voice when it comes to bigging up the Netflix Tomb Raider reboot, reimagining, reinvention. Goodbye, cartoon breasts. Hello, sweat stains. I mean, what? The feminist reinvention of Tomb Raider. So, okay, you're kind of letting a little bit too much out of the bag on this one. Maybe you're a little bit too deep in your box of wine. But this is like, whenever those diversity is our greatest strength people come out and start to run their mouth, they really expose themselves, not so much as trying to big up other races, big up minorities, in so much as they just hate white people. But you've got a feminist outing herself here, not so much bigging up all types of women, but instead bigging up ugly, flat-chested women. Why do I need to be redundant? Flat-chested women. Very, very strange admission here. And no, this isn't ironic. This isn't some sort of parody piece. They're out here saying, no, it's a great thing that Lara doesn't look like the Lara that you remember from the PS1 days. She needs to be a strong, globe-trotting girl boss that's as flat as our viewership and our subscription numbers. Like, I don't know what you're doing. And yeah, in order to get to this page, you're just inundated with all of the ads saying, God, we're in so tough. And it's like, well, when you unironically write shit like this, why would anybody support you? But I mean, things are bad when the Guardian is they're stumping for you, and not even IGN could get to their meme number, and they decided to put Lara's titties front and center. But outside of the main villain's arc, which had me rolling my eyes, 8-episode story isn't bad. But just about everything else, character story, animation is mediocre. And I got a 5 from IGN. It must be abysmal if we're being completely honest. But of course, we've seen screenshots before, and I've done videos on the side-shaved sidekick of Lara. Some of them have been photoshopped to include a lot more inflammatory language, but it was just Bechdel test passing conversational nonsense that nobody's signing up for. Nobody wants. Because here's the thing. Right? Like, Tomb Raider appeals to everybody. She was the mascot for the burgeoning PlayStation back in its early days. It's not until the IP got mined completely into the ground that she started to fade into obscurity. That for a brief moment in time, for probably the first remake, or rather reboot, she immediately popped back to prominence to a point where even BAFTA is saying she's the #1 most iconic video game character of all time. And the best that you can do for her is a 5 Netflix series. What are we doing, bro? But seeing the reviews like this and the screenshots and the stills coming out of it, and then obviously the conversation around a flat-chested, square-jawed Lara Croft interpretation, I was wondering, who's behind this, right? Like, this isn't the Phoebe Waller Bridge one, okay? That's supposed to be that Amazon project that may or may not ever come out. This is a different cast of characters. Obviously, Crystal Dynamics and Embracer Group over the tops, still passing along notes, and this isn't going to help them ultimately if they're looking to shed or do something with their IPs. Is only going to do further damage because, like I said before, those reboots in the early 2010s, they were good for the brand. People were once again willing to earnestly give the Tomb Raider franchise another shot, reintegrate them into their game library, but then they quickly fell by the wayside with, what was it, Rise of the Tomb Raider came out second. That's the one with the snowy cover picture. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that one nobody liked, I think. But I think Rise was and then Shadow sucked about as much as Tasha Huo. Tasha Huo? Oh, she's the writer for this. And when I seen this picture pop up, it's like, I've seen you before. How did you get on this project? What exactly does your resume look like, Tasha? And well, here's her IMDb page, and she wrote for this abysmally reviewed 6.6 on IMDb. Not great. She's the writer for the Red Sonja project on the horizon. Oh, great. And she wrote for Witcher Blood Origin, which for all of the bad fantasy shows that we've gotten recently and people trying to say that House of the Dragon Season 2 slots right in, you're out of your mind. But Season 3 of The Witcher, 2 seasons of Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, 2 seasons of that as well. But the bottom rung of that crap, the piece of shit still circling around the bowl, leaving skid marks the entire way down, is Witcher Blood Origin. That just came out, right, at the tail end of 2022. And it immediately rocketed up everybody's worst of 2022 rankings. Like, it was really bad. It was really bad. So much so rather, that it was cited as the impetus for Henry Cavill wanting to leave The Witcher. And apparently over at Netflix, you don't just fail your way out of the business, you fail upward. You get Tomb Raider show and a Red Sonja project. Fantastic stuff, and whatever Mighty Nine is, I'm sure it's going to be great. But oh, don't let her resume fool you. She has several other terrible ideas for your favorite franchises. Wait until they do the Red Sonja stuff and they eventually come back around to a more feminized Conan the Barbarian. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. We really wanted another Lara. Oh, great, because, you know, the popular one wasn't good enough. We wanted less Lara Croft, more Leah Thompson. Great, fantastic. Like Batman or Spider-Man, there's never too much Lara Croft. Wait, what? No, here's the thing, man. Like, I've been alive long enough to see her popularity ebb and flow over the years. Like, for the first 3 or 4 Tomb Raiders, wildly popular on the PS1. In the PS2 era, when things started to get a little bit more goofy, yeah, people pretty much fell off, and it wasn't until the reboot after Nathan Drake made archaeology cool again that the idea of bringing back Lara Croft was ever a thing. So yeah, there was plenty of Lara Croft that was out there. Was there like a dozen games that nobody played on the PS2 and early PS3 life cycle? But okay, the iconic heroine has been reiterated in video games, movies, comics, and now an animated series. Showrunner and writer Tasha Huo describes, Netflix's Tomb Raider Legend of Lara Croft as a bridge between the different versions of Lara Croft that the fans have seen over the years. Yeah, there's one version, the popular one, and then there's all of those fanfics that have been written. This version of Lara, voiced by Hayley Atwell. Well, what a waste of talent. If you got Hayley Atwell under contract and you don't put her on screen, that's another crime against humanity. Still has to confront the demons of her past. Oh my god, bro, we don't... Yo, it's not that hard to do. It's not that hard to tell a Tomb Raider story. You don't need... She has daddy issues. Okay, bro, she's not that character. But these are these untalented hacks where, oh, I had troubles growing up, and oh, I've had problems being, you know, a 4 in the world of 6s, so I'm just gonna go ahead and project all of that stuff on a certifiable 10 video game character. Oh boy, I still has to confront the demons of her past to save the world from an apocalyptic catastrophe. Yeah, and then she ended up cranking out this shit, and it's like, yep, apocalyptic catastrophe for sure, but is vulnerable enough to rely on her closest friends for help. No, man, you don't know anything about Tomb Raider. Like, she's not out there relying on her friends. She is a Tomb Raider. Ain't no bitch sitting around in a sewing circle talking about her feelings. Lara's characterization has been heavily criticized in the past for overly sexualized and unrealistic design. I mean, if you look like this dumpy bitch and you see something, you know, approximating that, chicks that do exist, I'm tired of this unrealistic. No, bitch, hot chicks exist. Fuck, you casted Hayley Atwell to voice her. Looks closer to the original interpretation than whatever this dumpy square-jawed bitch is up to. Like, get out of here. Yeah, plus her stoic nature. Yeah, exactly. That's why people liked her. In recent years, her design was immensely improved, I beg your pardon, both physically and emotionally. Yeah, she went back to school, she got her gender studies degree, put on about 50 pounds, and started railing against the patriarchy. It's so much better, guys. Starting with the Survivor reboot trilogy, in 2013. Yeah, that everybody, you know, gave a shot. First time around, thought was, you know, pretty good, but ultimately forgettable, and then, yeah, fell off a cliff afterwards. The events of the Netflix series directly follow the Survivor trilogy. Oh, great, yeah, follow up on something nobody wants. Great stuff. Who, I don't care. Don't be jealous, bitch. To create a realistic design for the story of Lara, who wanted to give extra emphasis to Lara's relationship with women, both romantic and otherwise. I fucking hate this stuff. Talking to CBR, who went into more detail about entering a new phase for Lara by avoiding the daddy issues trope. Yeah, you know, because she learned about tomb raiding from her father, and we can't, you know, have a proper father-daughter relationship anymore because men are ultimately bad, right? That's why we have to make her a U-Haul enthusiast. Ugh. Bringing on Hayley Atwell to voice Lara and exploring Lara's closest relationships, yes, with whoever she can scissor with. As a fan of the Tomb Raider video games, I found the Tomb Raider Legend of Lara Croft follows the game's lore really well. Really? As a big fan of the video games. Bro, here's the thing. Like I said, I played the remake. I bought the collector's edition. I used to have it, but I threw out all that swag. I know, I think I bought like the collector's edition. There was something that I had. Collector's edition guide, because that was around that time where, you know, you had the different strategy guides and all that. I've spent way too much money on games. Yeah, man, when everybody started to fall off those, it was when it just, started to get into this, you know, goofy melodrama, less raiding tombs, more focusing on wombs. Nobody wants that. The gamers don't want that, but the CBR, Tasha Huo types, that's what this is made for. You know, the target audience for the Acolyte and Agatha all along. How much research was put into the games to avoid plot holes and make sure the overall story flowed with gamers. Oh, I'm sorry, with the games, rather. Tasha, that's a really interesting question. Yeah, okay, it's asking, is it going to be canonically sound, and what are you basing this on? It's an interesting question. It should be a pretty straightforward question. I wouldn't call it research so much as for years I've been playing the games. No, you haven't. And everyone who kind of touched it creatively has been fans of the games. How much research did you do? Yeah, we've been fans of the games. Shut up. So it was just in our blood. Oh, right, yeah, the research of it, yeah, came when we wanted to tell a new story. Yeah, okay. We wanted to tell our own story because we can't see the world from outside of the length of our own noses. So it wasn't much as trying to look behind us as trying to look forward. Oh, the old Kamala Harris quote, we can't be burdened by the past in order to be unburdened by the future. Great, fantastic stuff. But yes, growing and transforming Lara from the past, I guess the research was sort of ingrained in us, is that a terrible answer? Yeah, no, it would be for anybody interested in this show, and frankly, you took the iconography, you gave her dual pistols, but you stripped her of everything fun and whimsical about the original character that people fell in love with 20 plus years ago. You fast-tracked her to that boring half a lesbian that everybody gave up on about a decade ago, that you've been trying to reinterpret and turn into this insufferable girl boss. But hey, it has failed in every other endeavor, every other franchise you tried it on, so I guess it was only a matter of time before it came back to Tomb Raider, so that it could also go through the franchise ruination that has been going through Hollywood for a very, very long time. Or hey, perhaps I'm judging a book by its cover, and this right there looks like something that you'd want to devote some of your time to. Jesus Christ. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.